Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use.
Fast X, the 10th installment of the globally renowned Fast and Furious franchise, represents both a culmination and an evolution of a saga that began more than 2 decades ago. Emerging from the creative minds behind Universal Pictures and the production house's original film and One Race Films, the movie embodies the franchise's persistent theme of family, loyalty, and high-stakes action while simultaneously introducing fresh elements that expand the narrative universe. Directed by Louis Leterrier after Justin Lin's departure, Fast X carries forward the legacy of explosive set pieces, emotionally charged character arcs, and global-scale storytelling that fans have come to expect. The film is set predominantly across multiple international locations, including Rome, Lisbon, and Antarctica, giving it an expansive visual footprint that underscores the ever-growing stakes of Dom Toretto and his family's adventures. At its core, Fast X is a story about revenge, legacy, and the consequences of past actions, themes that resonate deeply within a narrative universe that has continually explored the intersection of personal bonds and extreme action. The plot of Fast X is both intricate and sprawling, beginning with a careful reflection on past events from earlier installments, particularly Fast 5. This reflection introduces audiences to Dante Reyes, the son of Hernan Reyes, a Brazilian drug lord whose criminal empire was dismantled years prior by Dominic Toretto and his crew. Dante is meticulously portrayed as a character whose life has been defined by vengeance, cunning, and obsession with the downfall of Dom Toretto. The story quickly establishes Dante's motivations, framing him not merely as a villain driven by wealth or power but as a deeply personal antagonist whose every action is a direct retaliation for his father's demise. As the narrative unfolds, Dante orchestrates a series of meticulously planned attacks, each designed to dismantle Dom's life, isolate him from allies, and create chaos on a global scale. The first major act of aggression is a complex operation in Rome, where Dante manipulates intelligence and technology to lure Roman Pierce, Tej Parker, Han Lu, and Ramsey into what appears to be a legitimate mission. This mission, however, is a trap, demonstrating Dante's strategic acumen and his willingness to leverage every possible advantage to gain control over Dom's world. The ensuing chaos features an enormous rolling bomb through the city streets, leading to one of the franchise's signature high-octane sequences. Dom intervenes, diverting the bomb into a river to prevent mass casualties, yet the resulting destruction paints Dom and his team as global fugitives, amplifying the narrative tension and setting the stage for a personal and professional showdown between hero and villain. As the narrative progresses, the emotional stakes of the story deepen. Dom Toretto's life is increasingly encroached upon by Dante's relentless pursuit of revenge, creating tension not only in terms of physical danger but also in the emotional fabric of the family unit central to the franchise. Dante's strategies include the kidnapping of little Brian, Dom's young son, as well as sabotage of the team's resources, which forces Dom and his allies into a reactive, high-pressure scenario that tests both their strategic skills and their emotional resilience. Throughout these sequences, the film emphasizes the enduring theme of family, a central pillar of the Fast and Furious universe, demonstrating that the characters' bonds are both their greatest strength and their most exploitable vulnerability. The tension is heightened by Dante's theatrical villainy, combining intellect, charisma, and unpredictability in a manner that creates a continuous sense of suspense. Dante's presence is felt throughout, and his manipulation of global intelligence systems, coupled with his psychological warfare, ensures that every action by Dom's team is shadowed by potential catastrophe. Central to Fast X is the ensemble cast that brings both depth and charisma to the narrative. Vin Diesel reprises his role as Dominic Toretto, embodying the stoic yet emotionally resonant leader whose unwavering dedication to family drives the narrative forward. Michelle Rodriguez returns as Letty Ortiz, providing both emotional grounding and formidable combat prowess that complements Dom's leadership. Jason Momoa delivers a standout performance as Dante Reyes, his portrayal marked by intensity, theatricality, and a layered sense of menace that elevates the stakes of the film. Supporting characters such as Natalie Emmanuel's Ramsey, Tyrese Gibson's Roman Pierce, Ludacris' Tej Parker, Sung Kang's Han Lu, and John Cena's Jacob Toretto contribute to a tapestry of interwoven narratives that enrich the story. Each character is given moments to shine, whether through clever technical interventions, strategic combat, or emotional exchanges that deepen the audience's connection to the team. Additionally, returning characters like Jordana Brewster's Mia Toretto and Charlize Theron's Cypher maintain continuity with past narratives, linking the present story to the larger universe while introducing new challenges that reinforce the sense of an evolving, high-stakes world. The action sequences in Fast X are particularly noteworthy for their scale, innovation, and integration into the narrative. From high-speed chases through the historic streets of Rome to complex aerial and aquatic stunts, the film consistently pushes the boundaries of cinematic action. One of the most remarkable sequences involves a highway chase in Portugal, where vehicles maneuver across dangerous terrain while evading explosive traps set by Dante. These sequences are not merely spectacles but are carefully choreographed to advance character development, illustrate strategic thinking, and heighten tension. The blend of practical stunts with carefully executed visual effects ensures a sense of realism and immersion, allowing the audience to feel the intensity of each chase, collision, and confrontation. Additionally, the filmmaker's choice to shoot in diverse international locations contributes to the narrative's global scale, emphasizing that the conflict between Dom and Dante extends beyond a single city or country, reinforcing the notion that the stakes are universal and that the consequences of their struggle will resonate globally. The emotional resonance of the film is amplified through character-driven subplots, particularly those involving familial relationships and personal sacrifice. Jacob Toretto's arc, for instance, introduces themes of redemption, loyalty, and the complexities of sibling relationships. His ultimate sacrifice to save Dom and little Brian underscores the series' persistent theme that family is both a source of strength and vulnerability. Similarly, the interactions between Dom and his son highlight the personal costs of a life devoted to protecting others, adding layers of emotional depth to an action-packed narrative. Cypher's continued presence as a morally ambiguous figure further complicates the storyline, forcing alliances and confrontations that challenge the moral compass of the protagonists. Through these character-driven elements, Fast X balances relentless action with meaningful exploration of human relationships, ensuring that the stakes are not only physical but deeply personal. One of the most intense sequences in Fast X occurs during the climactic confrontation at the dam in Portugal. This set piece combines environmental hazards, strategic maneuvering, and emotional stakes in a way that epitomizes the franchise's ability to merge spectacle with story. The dam, towering and imposing, becomes both a literal and symbolic obstacle. Dom's pursuit of Dante and the desperate effort to rescue Littleby takes place across treacherous terrain, with water currents, collapsing infrastructure, and narrow pathways heightening tension. Each maneuver, jump, and collision is executed with precision, reflecting both the crew's skill and the stakes involved. The cinematography emphasizes verticality, danger, and scale, often framing characters against the massive structure to reinforce the sense of peril. Dante, as a manipulative and calculating antagonist, orchestrates multiple traps simultaneously, forcing Dom to think creatively, trust his instincts, and rely on the coordinated support of his crew across continents. In parallel, Letty and Cypher navigate their own perilous journey. Held captive in a technologically advanced black site, they must escape while deciphering Dante's broader plans. This subplot underscores themes of resilience, ingenuity, and reluctant alliances. Letty's ability to balance aggression with strategy is contrasted with Cypher's cold, calculated approach, highlighting the tension between moral flexibility and personal loyalty. Their escape involves overcoming high-tech security systems, hand-to-hand combat, and resourceful improvisation, culminating in a daring exit that parallels Dom's own high-stakes maneuvers at the dam. The convergence of these narratives creates an intricate web of suspense, ensuring that tension is sustained while allowing characters' personalities and values to shine. Roman, Tej, and Ramsey's storyline illustrates the global dispersion of the crew and the interconnected nature of their actions. While isolated from the main confrontation, they navigate Dante's traps across urban and rural environments, using intelligence, ingenuity, and teamwork to survive. Roman's improvisation in vehicle-based maneuvers, Teja's hacking and technological countermeasures, and Ramsey's strategic thinking combined to provide both comic relief and essential narrative propulsion. Their sequences demonstrate that even in separation, the crew's cohesion and mutual trust are crucial to overcoming Dante's multifaceted attacks. These parallel missions allow the audience to experience the global scale of the conflict and reinforce the narrative that success depends on collaboration, skill, and loyalty. Character arcs throughout Fast X are enriched by subtle interpersonal dynamics. Jacob's actions to protect Littleby reveal a selflessness and bravery that contrast with his earlier ambivalence and rivalry with Dom. His interactions highlight themes of redemption, familial duty, and the complex morality of making life-and-death decisions. The tension between Dom and Jacob illustrates how sibling relationships are tested in extreme circumstances, while simultaneously offering moments of reconciliation and understanding that resonate emotionally with audiences. Meanwhile, Dante's psychological manipulation extends beyond physical threats, as he exploits past grievances and ethical dilemmas to destabilize the crew, making every decision feel weighty and consequential. Fast X also integrates high-concept technical elements that elevate its action sequences. Advanced vehicle modifications, sophisticated hacking, and coordinated team tactics showcase both realism and creativity. Practical stunts, including vehicles performing extreme jumps, precise navigation through urban landscapes, and calculated collisions, are enhanced by visual effects that maintain believability while amplifying spectacle. The filmmaker's commitment to executing these stunts in real locations, combined with meticulous planning, rehearsal, and safety measures, demonstrates an extraordinary dedication to authenticity and cinematic immersion. The emotional core of the film is reinforced by moments of vulnerability and reflection. Dom's interactions with his son, Littleby, provide poignancy amidst chaos, emphasizing the human stakes underlying each action sequence. Letty's resourcefulness and courage serve as both inspiration and emotional anchor, while the crew's loyalty and camaraderie exemplify the enduring theme of family. Even minor characters are given meaningful contributions to the narrative, whether through intelligence, courage, or sacrifice, ensuring that every participant in the story feels essential to the outcome. From a cinematic standpoint, Fast X employs lighting, color grading, and sound design to enhance narrative impact. The interplay of shadows and illumination underscores suspense, while explosions and environmental sounds accentuate urgency and realism. Musical motifs support character arcs, echoing themes of familial connection, revenge, and personal growth. The synchronization of these elements demonstrates a sophisticated approach to storytelling that balances technical prowess with emotional resonance. Fan engagement with Fast X reflects the franchise's cultural significance. The film's cliffhanger ending, unresolved character arcs, and dramatic confrontations have generated discussion and speculation across social media platforms, fan forums, and news outlets. Viewers analyze each trailer, promotional material, and narrative beat to predict developments in Part 2, reflecting the franchise's capacity to foster active audience participation. The anticipation surrounding the continuation of these storylines reinforces Fast X's role as a central narrative event within the cinematic universe it inhabits. As the film closes, unresolved plotlines establish a foundation for the final installment. Dante's ultimate motives, the fate of the crew members, and the implications of their choices remain in question, creating narrative momentum that will carry into Part 2. Themes of consequence, loyalty, and personal sacrifice continue to resonate, ensuring that the conclusion will provide both action-driven spectacle and emotional closure. Fast X thus functions not only as an exhilarating installment in the franchise but also as a narrative bridge, linking past events with future resolutions and maintaining continuity for audiences invested in the long-running saga. Fast X's achievements are manifold. It combines globe-spanning action, emotionally compelling character arcs, strategic villainy, and high-stakes tension into a cohesive cinematic experience. Its production, involving complex logistics, international locations, and meticulously coordinated stunts, underscores the ambition of the filmmakers. Through a balance of practical effects and visual innovation, combined with strong performances from a diverse ensemble cast, the film delivers a spectacle that entertains while resonating emotionally. The thematic emphasis on family, loyalty, and resilience ensures that the stakes are not merely physical but profoundly personal. The narrative structure, interweaving multiple concurrent storylines, character growth, and high-intensity action, reflects the franchise's evolution toward more complex storytelling. Fast X demonstrates that a blockbuster action film can balance visceral thrills with meaningful character exploration. Each decision, relationship, and confrontation is crafted to have narrative and emotional significance, maintaining engagement across a global audience. By extending character arcs, revisiting past events, and establishing unresolved tensions, Fast X ensures continuity and sets the stage for the climactic conclusion in the next installment. The production of Fast X was a testament to the franchise's evolution in both scale and ambition. Filming took place over multiple countries, requiring careful coordination between international crews, local authorities, and logistical teams to ensure safety and continuity. The replacement of the original director, Justin Lin, with Louis Leterrier brought fresh creative vision, emphasizing kinetic cinematography, heightened suspense, and an emotionally resonant core. Leterrier's approach balanced the practical stunts for which the franchise is famous with state-of-the-art CGI enhancements, allowing sequences such as multi-vehicle chases, rooftop escapes, and environmental destruction to appear both spectacular and grounded. Behind the scenes, stunt coordinators spent months rehearsing sequences, calibrating timing for high-speed maneuvers, and synchronizing vehicles, explosions, and camera rigs to ensure seamless execution. The integration of aerial drones and stabilized camera systems allowed cinematographers to capture expansive landscapes while following the frenetic pace of street-level action, resulting in sequences that are both breathtaking and immersive. Vehicle design and modification were central to the production. The franchise has always emphasized unique cars as extensions of character, and Fast X continued this tradition by introducing custom-built vehicles tailored to the narrative. Dom's iconic muscle cars were upgraded with defensive and offensive capabilities that aligned with plot demands, while Dante's convoy featured heavily modified armored vehicles and tactical machines, creating a visual and thematic contrast between protagonist and antagonist. Each vehicle was choreographed not merely as a prop but as a narrative device, integral to action, strategy, and character expression. Practical effects included real jumps, collapses, and collisions, which were then seamlessly enhanced with CGI to ensure safety without compromising realism. The meticulous attention to vehicular detail reinforces the franchise's identity. Cars are central characters, their design, performance, and aesthetic reflecting personality, skill, and intent. Costume design and characterization were equally intentional. Dom's wardrobe, characterized by understated tones, emphasizes practicality and the archetypal, everyman hero, while Dante's attire is flamboyant, signaling his personality, confidence, and desire for theatrical impact. Letty's outfits combine utility with personal style, reflecting her dual role as a tactical operative and an individual with agency. Supporting characters' attire often signifies affiliation, hierarchy, or skill set, subtly enhancing narrative clarity. These visual cues, combined with expressive performance, contribute to storytelling efficiency, allowing audiences to quickly interpret relationships, roles, and stakes even amidst chaotic sequences. Every member of the ensemble cast received nuanced attention, with arcs designed to maximize both dramatic tension and thematic resonance. Roman Pierce's comic relief evolves into a demonstration of courage and reliability, showing growth beyond his early career bravado. Tej Parker transitions from technical problem solver to strategic leader, reflecting a maturation of skill and responsibility. Han Lu's wisdom and calm demeanor anchor critical missions, serving as both mentor and tactical overseer. Ramsey's cyber expertise is pivotal, demonstrating the franchise's increasing engagement with contemporary technological threats while highlighting the evolving role of intelligence and hacking in global operations. Mia Toretto balances familial grounding with operational contribution, and Jacob Toretto's presence introduces both familial tension and redemptive narrative possibilities. Dante Reyes, central to the narrative's tension, is multifaceted, charismatic, intelligent, and morally complex, whose vendetta against the Toretto family is as personal as it is destructive, representing the narrative apex of conflict and the thematic exploration of revenge's cyclical consequences. The marketing strategy for Fast X was global, multi-channel, and immersive. Trailers were carefully staged to reveal enough action and intrigue to engage audiences without spoiling key sequences. Teasers emphasized nostalgia, returning characters, and the franchise's hallmark stunts, while full trailers balanced spectacle with emotional stakes, showcasing Dom's family, Dante's machinations, and the intricate global set pieces. Social media campaigns engaged fans through behind-the-scenes content, interactive experiences, and cross-platform promotions, creating community participation and heightened anticipation. Merchandise, from vehicles to apparel, reinforced brand identity, while press tours and premiere events highlighted the ensemble cast and the film's international scope, emphasizing both the franchise's legacy and the narrative significance of this installment as the beginning of the concluding arc. Global reception and box office performance confirmed Fast X's impact. Opening weekend performance exceeded expectations in multiple markets, reflecting the enduring popularity of the franchise and the strategic alignment of marketing, nostalgia, and spectacle. Critical reception highlighted the film's balance of large-scale action and character-driven storytelling. Praise centered on the ensemble performances, the villainous complexity of Dante Reyes, and the ingenuity of action choreography, while critiques noted the inherent challenge of concluding a serialized narrative within a single installment, emphasizing the need to follow subsequent films for full resolution. Audience reception reinforced the critical consensus, with social media discussions and fan forums highlighting appreciation for character depth, high-octane sequences, and the continuing exploration of familial themes. The global box office success demonstrated the franchise's continued commercial viability and its capacity to maintain audience engagement across international markets. Thematically, Fast X continues the franchise's long-standing exploration of family, loyalty, and consequence. Family is not merely a motif but the central narrative driver, influencing every decision, action, and conflict. Dom's commitment to protecting his loved ones, even under impossible odds, underscores the narrative's emotional weight, while the consequences of past decisions reverberate through the lives of allies and adversaries alike. Dante's vendetta represents a mirror to these themes, the destructive potential of revenge, the consequences of unresolved trauma, and the moral complexities of justice. By juxtaposing these thematic threads, the film achieves a layered narrative that elevates the spectacle, demonstrating that action, character, and moral reflection can coexist without diminishing entertainment value. Finally, Fast X situates itself firmly within the broader franchise continuum. References to prior heists, character arcs, and previous antagonists provide narrative coherence and reward longtime fans, while the introduction of new threats, international operations, and evolved character dynamics ensures relevance for contemporary audiences. The unresolved cliffhanger, the precarious fate of central characters, and the lingering threat of Dante Reyes establish a narrative bridge to future installments, ensuring continuity, suspense, and audience investment. By blending spectacle, character development, thematic depth, and serialized storytelling, Fast X achieves a culmination of franchise experience while preparing the narrative foundation for the saga's concluding chapters. In summation, Fast X is a landmark installment in the Fast and Furious franchise. It balances high-octane action with nuanced character exploration, delivers spectacle through carefully choreographed stunts and international locations, and advances the narrative with a complex antagonist whose motivations elevate the story beyond simple conflict. The film emphasizes the centrality of family, loyalty, and consequence while maintaining engagement through strategic pacing, ensemble dynamics, and immersive cinematography. Production efforts, from direction to stunt coordination to vehicle and costume design, reinforce both realism and narrative coherence. Marketing and global release strategies ensured audience engagement and commercial success, while thematic depth and serialized narrative structure position the film as a critical bridge in the franchise's concluding arc. Ultimately, Fast X exemplifies the ongoing evolution of a long-running series, honoring its past, expanding its scope, and laying the groundwork for the story's future resolution. In addition to the primary characters, Fast X devotes significant attention to its supporting cast, enriching the narrative and reinforcing the franchise's thematic consistency. Characters such as Magdalene, Queenie, L. Mansonshaw, portrayed by Helen Mirren, provide moments of levity, strategic insight and emotional resonance, bridging generational gaps within the storyline and emphasizing the franchise's recurring motif of family legacy. Similarly, Daniela Melchior's Isabel, a new addition to the cast, introduces youthful energy, street racing expertise, and emotional stakes connected to Dom's past. Her interactions with both veteran and new characters highlight the franchise's ability to balance established continuity with fresh dynamics, ensuring that the ensemble feels cohesive yet diversified. The intricate choreography of action sequences is supported by an equally meticulous approach to visual storytelling and cinematography. The filmmakers utilize dynamic camera angles, aerial tracking shots, and innovative framing to convey the thrill and intensity of vehicular sequences. Lighting design and color grading are used strategically to differentiate locations and emotional beats. The warm tones of Mediterranean streets contrast with the icy blues of Antarctica, visually signaling the shift in both environment and narrative tension. The seamless integration of practical effects with CGI allows the filmmakers to execute extraordinary stunts while maintaining visual credibility, preserving the sense of realism that is central to the franchise's identity. Sound design and musical composition further elevate the cinematic experience. The score, composed with both orchestral and electronic elements, aligns closely with narrative pacing, heightening suspense, and emotional engagement. Engine sounds, explosions, and ambient environmental audio are carefully layered to provide a visceral experience, ensuring that audiences feel the intensity of each high-speed chase, fight, or climactic sequence. The soundscape also reinforces character presence. For example, distinctive auditory cues accompany specific vehicles, emphasizing their symbolic and functional significance within the narrative. Behind-the-scenes production stories reveal the extraordinary dedication required to realize Fast X. The coordination of international shoots necessitated collaboration with multiple local governments, logistical teams, and safety experts. Stunt rehearsals spanned weeks, requiring actors to develop both technical skill and physical endurance. Vehicles were custom-modified for extreme performance, balancing safety with the demands of intricate choreography. Pyrotechnics, wire rigs, and harness systems were precisely timed with digital effects to produce sequences that appear spontaneous yet are the result of meticulous planning. These efforts exemplify the franchise's commitment to blending spectacle with disciplined craftsmanship. Comparisons with previous installments in the Fast and Furious series underscore Fast X's narrative and technical evolution. While earlier films focused primarily on street racing and heist-driven plots, modern entries such as Fast X expand the narrative scope to global espionage, large-scale combat, and high-stakes familial drama. The integration of new characters alongside established cast members reflects the franchise's ongoing commitment to both continuity and innovation. In terms of production values, Fast X surpasses earlier films with its international filming locations, advanced CGI integration, and complex stunt sequences, signaling a maturation in both scale and ambition. From a narrative perspective, Fast X skillfully balances action, drama, and emotional resonance. High-octane sequences are not merely visual spectacle, they are woven into the story to advance character development and thematic exploration. Each chase, fight, and explosive moment is designed to test the characters' relationships, highlight personal growth, and underscore the consequences of choices. This approach ensures that audiences remain invested in both the outcome of the narrative and the personal stakes of the characters, maintaining engagement across the film's global and action-driven canvas. The cultural impact of Fast X extends beyond box office performance. The franchise's emphasis on diversity, inclusion, and global representation allows it to resonate with a wide audience. Its international settings, multicultural cast, and cross-cultural themes reflect contemporary cinema's increasing attention to global markets. The film also engages audiences through fan communities, social media interactions, and participatory marketing strategies, creating a shared cultural experience. Memorable quotes, signature stunts, and character arcs contribute to the franchise's enduring appeal and influence within popular culture. In reflecting on the legacy of Fast X, it is evident that the film represents both a culmination and a continuation. As the 10th main installment, it honors the series' origins while expanding its narrative, thematic, and technical boundaries. The emphasis on family, loyalty, and personal responsibility remains central, even as the scale of action, international reach, and visual complexity increases. By integrating these elements, Fast X reinforces the franchise's identity, ensuring that it remains both a commercial powerhouse and a culturally resonant narrative experience. Ultimately, Fast X exemplifies the modern blockbuster, a fusion of advanced technical craftsmanship, compelling character-driven storytelling, global ambition, and cultural resonance. Its meticulous production, attention to detail, and ability to balance spectacle with narrative depth underscore why the Fast and Furious franchise continues to captivate audiences worldwide. The film not only advances ongoing storylines but also sets the stage for the concluding chapters of the saga, promising future installments that will resolve long-standing conflicts, explore unresolved character arcs, and deliver the high-stakes, adrenaline-fueled action that has become synonymous with the franchise. The impact of Fast X will likely be measured not only in box office revenue but in its contribution to shaping contemporary action cinema and reinforcing the thematic significance of family, loyalty, and resilience in high-stakes storytelling. In conclusion, Fast X stands as a landmark in the Fast and Furious franchise, showcasing the integration of large-scale action, complex character dynamics, and technical innovation. Its narrative sophistication, combined with global visual and auditory storytelling, ensures a comprehensive cinematic experience. By honoring the series' heritage while pushing creative boundaries, the film reinforces its place in modern blockbuster cinema and cements the enduring appeal of the franchise. Through a combination of meticulous planning, international collaboration, and an unwavering focus on both spectacle and narrative, Fast X exemplifies the qualities that have defined the Fast and Furious saga and ensures its continued relevance and influence in the global cinematic landscape. The detailed plot of Fast X is expansive and multi-layered, reflecting the franchise's commitment to blending high-octane spectacle with character-driven storytelling. The story begins with Dom Toretto and his family having established a fragile period of peace following their previous battles against formidable criminal organizations. This peace is disrupted by the emergence of Dante Reyes, a highly intelligent and vengeful antagonist whose motivations are deeply personal. Dante's father, a notorious drug lord, was defeated in Fast 5, an event that destroyed his empire and indirectly caused suffering to his family. Dante's quest for revenge is fueled by years of meticulous planning and strategic foresight, positioning him as an adversary who can operate on both physical and psychological levels. His attacks are calculated to exploit the vulnerabilities of Dom and his allies, testing their loyalty, ingenuity, and resilience under extreme pressure. Early sequences in the film establish Dante's capabilities and ruthlessness. The film opens with coordinated attacks that demonstrate his tactical precision, combining advanced technology, insider knowledge, and brute force. These attacks quickly escalate from minor sabotage to full-scale confrontations, forcing Dom and his team to respond with both speed and strategy. One of the most notable early action sequences takes place in the urban streets of Rome, where Dom and his allies engage in a high-speed pursuit through narrow alleyways and ancient catacombs. This sequence exemplifies the franchise's signature blend of vehicular acrobatics, practical stunts, and cinematic tension, creating a visual spectacle while advancing the narrative by showing the immediate threat posed by Dante. The combination of historical architecture and modern vehicles highlights the franchise's ability to merge diverse visual elements into a cohesive, thrilling action sequence. As the story progresses, Dante's vendetta becomes increasingly personal. He targets Dom's family, including Letty, Mia, Roman, Tej, and the next generation represented by Dom's young son. These attacks heighten the emotional stakes, transforming the film from a conventional action movie into a narrative that explores generational responsibility, family bonds, and the cost of loyalty. Dom is forced to navigate the tension between protecting his loved ones and confronting an antagonist who is not only physically formidable but also strategically superior in many ways. This narrative tension is mirrored in the film's action sequences, which are both inventive and perilous. For instance, one sequence involves vehicles equipped with advanced technology attempting to escape from a collapsing structure, blending suspense, engineering ingenuity, and practical stunt work in a way that pushes the boundaries of realism without sacrificing cinematic thrill. The film also delves into the internal dynamics of Dom's extended family. Tensions arise between Dom and Jacob, his estranged brother, highlighting themes of reconciliation and mistrust. These interpersonal conflicts provide a counterpoint to the external threats posed by Dante, adding depth to the narrative and creating moments of character introspection amidst the chaos. Letty serves as both a stabilizing presence and an active participant in the action, demonstrating the franchise's ongoing commitment to strong female characters who are integral to both plot progression and physical action. Roman and Tej contribute critical technical expertise and improvisational skills, allowing for creative solutions to complex problems posed by Dante's schemes. Mia and other returning characters provide historical context and narrative continuity, reinforcing the franchise's long-term storytelling while contributing to the current film's immediate stakes. In addition to the narrative and character-driven elements, Fast X features several iconic action sequences that exemplify the franchise's technical prowess. One particularly memorable sequence takes place in London, where a combination of street racing, tactical evasion, and explosive set pieces culminates in a dramatic showdown. This sequence is notable for its meticulous choreography, extensive use of practical effects, and integration of computer-generated enhancements to amplify intensity. Another highlight involves a climactic confrontation in Antarctica, showcasing the franchise's willingness to explore extreme environments and push the boundaries of physical and narrative plausibility. These sequences are designed not only to entertain but also to visually symbolize the escalating stakes and the global scale of the conflict, reflecting the narrative's progression from localized threats to worldwide danger. From a production perspective, these sequences required unprecedented levels of coordination, safety planning, and technological innovation. The film employed a combination of real-world stunts, miniature models, CGI enhancements, and aerial cinematography to create seamless action that appears both realistic and spectacular. Vehicles, including cars, trucks, and specialized equipment, were carefully rigged to perform complex maneuvers safely while achieving cinematic impact. Stunt teams collaborated with cinematographers and directors to ensure that each shot conveyed both narrative clarity and thrilling intensity, blending practical risk with cinematic artistry. The success of these sequences underscores the franchise's long-standing reputation for pushing the limits of what is possible in action filmmaking while maintaining continuity with established character and story arcs. Upon its release, Fast X received a mixed critical reception. Critics praised the film for its technical achievements, elaborate action sequences, and strong performances, particularly Jason Momoa's portrayal of Dante, which was widely regarded as a standout element. Vin Diesel's performance as Dom Toretto was also commended for maintaining the emotional core of the franchise amidst high-octane spectacle. However, some criticism was directed toward the complexity of the plot, which, while rich in detail and character intersections, could at times feel overstuffed or reliant on prior franchise knowledge. Certain reviewers noted that while the action sequences were impressive, the film occasionally prioritized spectacle over narrative cohesion, a challenge inherent in long-running franchises seeking to balance fan service with new storytelling. Audience reception was generally more favorable, with longtime fans embracing the return of beloved characters, the escalation of stakes, and the film's commitment to delivering the adrenaline-fueled entertainment expected from the Fast and Furious brand. Financially, Fast X achieved significant commercial success. With a production budget of roughly $340 to $378.8 million, the film grossed over $714 million worldwide. Its international appeal, bolstered by a global cast, diverse filming locations, and universally thrilling action sequences, contributed substantially to box office performance. The film's financial results reinforced the franchise's enduring popularity and the continued viability of high-budget, globally oriented blockbuster filmmaking. Strategic release timing, extensive marketing campaigns, and pre-release hype helped to maximize audience turnout, while the inclusion of both returning characters and high-profile newcomers attracted multiple demographics, from longtime franchise enthusiasts to general action movie audiences seeking high-quality spectacle. The sequence of events in Fast X begins to reach its most intricate and visually striking moments during the series of heists, chases, and confrontations that form the backbone of the story. One such pivotal scene occurs in the streets of Rome, where Dom and his crew must retrieve critical intelligence that Dante has planted to manipulate their movements. The narrow cobblestone streets, lined with historic architecture, create a labyrinthine environment for high-speed pursuit. Vehicles weave through intersections, barely avoiding pedestrians, while explosions rock nearby plazas, demonstrating the crew's precision and daring. Each maneuver is choreographed to blend tension, spectacle, and narrative purpose. Roman Pierce often provides a voice of levity amid the chaos, but his contributions to problem-solving reveal a deep resourcefulness that complements Tej Parker's technical expertise. Ramsey's ability to hack into Dante's surveillance network from a remote location ensures the crew has a strategic edge, illustrating the importance of intelligence and teamwork over sheer force. Meanwhile, Dante's orchestration of events showcases his methodical villainy. He simultaneously manipulates international law enforcement, orchestrates cyber attacks, and anticipates the crew's decisions, turning the environment itself into a trap. Dante's psychological manipulation becomes evident when he confronts Dom with personal history, exploiting past betrayals and moral compromises. These interactions highlight the evolving sophistication of the franchise's antagonists, moving beyond simple physical threats to complex psychological warfare. His ability to predict and outmaneuver Dom's instincts forces the protagonists into high-stakes improvisation, where split-second decisions carry life-or-death consequences. This dynamic reinforces the tension and emotional weight of each action set piece. Another notable sequence occurs in Rio de Janeiro, revisiting motifs from earlier films while escalating stakes for the audience. Dom's crew undertakes a coordinated maneuver to intercept a cargo convoy critical to Dante's operation. The sequence is notable for its intricate choreography, which combines precision driving, vehicular combat, and team coordination. Tej utilizes remote surveillance and hacking to guide the crew, while Roman executes high-risk maneuvers that depend on impeccable timing. The audience is simultaneously treated to breathtaking visuals of the cityscape, heart-pounding tension, and character moments that reveal vulnerability, courage, and loyalty. This balance of spectacle and narrative ensures that action sequences are never gratuitous but always serve the story. Parallel to these events, Letty and Cypher navigate their own perilous subplot. Held in a high-tech black site, they must overcome security systems, combat trained guards, and strategically anticipate Dante's plans. The interplay between Letty's moral clarity and Cypher's pragmatic ruthlessness adds tension and unpredictability to their collaboration. The escape sequence is meticulously constructed, with close-quarters combat, technical problem-solving, and improvisation driving the narrative forward. These scenes emphasize that survival in Fast X relies on intelligence and adaptability as much as on physical prowess or vehicular skill. The film's climactic sequence at the dam in Portugal represents the culmination of multiple narrative threads. Dom and Jacob coordinate efforts to rescue Littleby from Dante's grasp, while Roman, Tej, and Ramsey provide remote support to counteract Dante's environmental traps and technological manipulations. The setting, a massive, partially collapsed dam, is utilized not only for its visual grandeur but as a narrative device that symbolizes overwhelming odds and the fragility of human effort against nature and man-made threats. The dam sequence features high-speed chases across narrow ledges, precise jumps, and calculated demolitions, creating an unprecedented scale of action within the franchise. The cinematography emphasizes verticality, framing the protagonists against enormous structures to accentuate danger and heroism. Dante's orchestration of chaos tests every skill, alliance, and moral decision, with each maneuver reflecting the consequences of past events and choices. Character development is tightly integrated into these sequences. Jacob's protective instincts for Littleby contrast with Dom's instinctive leadership, creating moments of tension and collaboration that highlight familial bonds. Letty's parallel storyline in the Black Site mirrors Dom's physical and emotional struggle, reinforcing the narrative theme of loyalty under duress. Dante's psychological attacks serve to heighten the stakes, compelling each character to confront fears, past mistakes, and ethical dilemmas. These arcs transform the action sequences into emotional crucibles where character, story, and spectacle converge seamlessly. The technical execution of Fast X's set pieces demonstrates a remarkable synthesis of practical stunts, vehicle choreography, and visual effects. Each high-risk maneuver is meticulously rehearsed and engineered to maximize realism and safety. Vehicles are specially modified to perform extreme jumps, precision steering, and high-speed interactions with environmental hazards. Explosions, collapses, and destructible structures are integrated into the choreography to enhance dramatic impact. The combination of practical effects and CGI ensures that the audience experiences tension and immersion without sacrificing cinematic polish. Fast X also explores the narrative potential of geography, utilizing each location to reinforce story themes. Rome's historic streets create tension and claustrophobia, Rio showcases the crew's ingenuity and teamwork under chaos, Portugal's dam represents monumental stakes, and Antarctica challenges survival skills and isolation. Each setting contributes to the narrative and visual diversity of the film, emphasizing both global scale and localized tension. These locations are not mere backdrops but active participants in the story, shaping character decisions and influencing outcomes. Behind the scenes, the production of Fast X involved international coordination, complex scheduling, and extensive planning. Crew members, stunt coordinators, and visual effects teams worked in tandem to execute sequences that often spanned weeks of preparation. Safety protocols were rigorously maintained while allowing actors to perform high-risk actions, including vehicle stunts, combat sequences, and environmental challenges. The commitment to practical realism distinguishes Fast X from other action franchises, offering audiences an authentic experience of danger and adrenaline. The audience response to Fast X reflects the culmination of decades-long investment in the franchise. Social media platforms, fan forums, and critical reviews engaged with both the spectacle and narrative complexity of the film. Viewers analyzed character arcs, speculated on Dante's ultimate fate, and discussed the implications of unresolved storylines for Part 2. The franchise's ability to maintain global relevance while deepening narrative sophistication demonstrates its cultural and commercial resonance. The cliffhanger ending reinforces anticipation for the continuation of the saga, ensuring sustained engagement and discourse. As the story concludes, unresolved threads, character choices, and moral dilemmas establish a foundation for Part 2. The survival of Littleby, the fate of Jacob and other crew members, and Dante's ultimate trajectory remain open questions. Themes of family, loyalty, consequence, and resilience continue to permeate the narrative, promising a resolution that combines high-octane spectacle with emotional closure. Fast X thus functions as both an action-packed cinematic experience and a bridge between long-term narrative arcs, maintaining continuity while escalating stakes for the next installment. Fast X is a 2023 American action film, the 10th main installment in the Fast and Furious franchise, produced by Universal Pictures and directed by Louis Leterrier. The film serves as the first part of the franchise's planned finale, blending the series' trademark high-octane action with a deeper focus on family, loyalty, and the consequences of past choices. It continues the story of Dominic Toretto, whose life as a street racer and tactician is complicated by personal stakes, global threats, and unresolved vendettas that span over a decade. The story opens with Dom enjoying rare peace with his wife Letty Ortiz and their son, Little Brian, while subtle references to past adversaries hint at the unresolved conflicts from prior films. This calm is disrupted by the arrival of the central antagonist, Dante Reyes, played by Jason Momoa. Dante is the son of Hernan Reyes, the Brazilian drug lord killed by Dom and his crew in Fast 5. Having survived and spent years meticulously planning revenge, Dante emerges as a villain whose schemes are both strategic and deeply personal, targeting Dom's family and allies simultaneously. Unlike traditional villains, Dante combines charisma, intelligence, and unpredictability, making him a psychologically compelling antagonist who challenges Dom not just physically but emotionally. The narrative structure of Fast X interweaves multiple threads. One thread follows Dom and his core crew, Roman Pierce, Tej Parker, Ramsey, and Han Lu, as they respond to increasingly complex threats engineered by Dante. Another thread focuses on Letty, who is captured and held in a high-security black site, where she interacts with Cypher, previously an antagonist, highlighting moral ambiguity and complex alliances. The film balances frenetic action with these quieter, character-driven moments, ensuring that emotional stakes remain high amidst the spectacle. The plot escalates quickly. Dante manipulates missions, frames Dom's team, and orchestrates catastrophic events, including a major ambush in Rome. Streets collapse, bridges explode, and the team navigates chaos while protecting civilians and maintaining cohesion. Letty's capture adds personal urgency, compelling Dom to confront not only external threats but also his own limitations and moral responsibilities. His strategy and leadership are central, as he adapts to Dante's unpredictable tactics, leveraging both brains and brawn to counter each trap. International locations, Rome, Lisbon, London, Brazil, and Portugal, play a critical role. Urban centers provide narrow streets and historic architecture for intense chase sequences, while remote landscapes allow creative stunts and vehicular maneuvers. These locations are integrated seamlessly into the narrative, functioning not just as backdrops but as dynamic elements that shape strategy and risk. Cinematography emphasizes kinetic energy, with long tracking shots during vehicle chases and rapid intercutting during combat, while the color palette and lighting shift to match location and emotional tone. Sound design and musical scoring amplify tension, connecting action sequences to the franchise's broader auditory identity. The ensemble cast brings depth to both action and character development. Vin Diesel's Dom remains central, balancing the archetype of hero with emotional vulnerability and strategic genius. Michelle Rodriguez's Letty is independent and formidable, excelling both physically and intellectually. Jason Momoa's Dante is flamboyant, menacing, and layered, making him a memorable antagonist. Roman and Tej provide humor and tactical support, Han offers mentorship and calm strategic oversight, and Ramsey ensures the technological edge is maintained. Mia and Jacob Toretto expand familial dynamics, with Jacob providing tension and potential redemption arcs. Recurring characters such as Deckard Shaw, Cypher, and a post-credits appearance from Luke Hobbs reinforce continuity and reward longtime fans. Supporting characters like Little Nobody, Isabel Nevis, and Queenie Shaw enrich the narrative through localized expertise, agency connections, and intergenerational ties. Action sequences in Fast X are both elaborate and innovative. From multi-vehicle chases through city streets to armored convoy assaults and climactic standoffs at a dam, stunts are choreographed with precision and reinforced by practical effects. Vehicles, a hallmark of the franchise, are upgraded and customized to reflect character, intent, and tactical function. The blend of practical stunts with CGI ensures realism while maximizing spectacle. Each action scene is narratively motivated, advancing the story and testing characters' skills, trust, and decision-making under extreme pressure. The Portugal climax exemplifies the film's approach: high-speed chases, environmental hazards, and tactical combat converge in a sequence where personal stakes, especially the safety of little Brian, intersect with global-scale threat. Dom improvises with vehicles and strategy, demonstrating leadership, resourcefulness, and emotional resilience. Letty escapes the black site using a combination of combat skills and ingenuity, underscoring the film's commitment to independent, capable female protagonists. Dante's schemes reach their apex, combining physical confrontation with psychological manipulation, emphasizing the destructive consequences of obsession and revenge. Thematically, Fast X explores family as the central driver of narrative and conflict. Loyalty, trust, and sacrifice are emphasized across all character arcs. The consequences of past actions reverberate, creating cycles of revenge and tension that propel the plot. Dante serves as a mirror to Dom, showing how trauma and obsession can shape moral choices and lead to catastrophic consequences. The interplay between familial bonds and global stakes ensures that action sequences carry emotional weight, creating a layered storytelling experience that blends spectacle with moral and relational complexity. Production highlights include global filming locations, intricate stunt coordination, vehicle design, and the integration of practical effects with CGI. Louis Leterrier's direction balances kinetic action with character-driven drama, maintaining coherence despite the film's sprawling scope. Vehicle design and modification are central, reflecting character and narrative needs. Costume design signals personality and function, while cinematography, color grading, and sound design enhance both aesthetic impact and storytelling clarity. Marketing for Fast X was multifaceted, combining teaser campaigns emphasizing returning characters and nostalgia with full trailers showcasing emotional stakes and large-scale action. Social media, interactive fan experiences, merchandise, and press tours reinforced audience engagement, emphasizing the franchise's global appeal and the narrative significance of this installment as the first part of the concluding arc. Box office performance reflected both the franchise's enduring popularity and the strategic marketing campaign. Opening weekend saw strong domestic and international returns, particularly in Europe, Latin America, and Asia. Critical reception praised the ensemble cast, Dante's complexity, and inventive action choreography while noting the serialized structure required continued investment in future installments. Audience feedback emphasized excitement for action, emotional stakes, and ongoing narrative threads, reinforcing the franchise's capacity to maintain engagement across generations. Fast X also situates itself firmly within franchise continuity, referencing previous heists, conflicts, and relationships, while integrating new threats and international operations. Its cliffhanger ending maintains suspense, leaves key characters' fates unresolved, and establishes a bridge to the next installment. By blending spectacle, character depth, and serialized storytelling, the film honors franchise legacy while expanding narrative possibilities. In summary, Fast X successfully combines high-octane action, emotionally grounded storytelling, and complex character dynamics. It emphasizes family, loyalty, and consequence while delivering cinematic spectacle across global locations. The ensemble cast, led by Vin Diesel and Jason Momoa, delivers compelling performances that enhance both tension and emotional resonance. The film's production, marketing, and release strategies reinforce its global reach and commercial success. Thematically, it explores cycles of revenge, the moral weight of decisions, and the resilience of familial bonds, while setting the stage for the next chapter in the concluding arc of the Fast and Furious saga. Fast X, the 10th main installment in the globally renowned Fast and Furious franchise, represents both a continuation and an evolution of a cinematic saga that has become synonymous with high-octane action, family dynamics, and international spectacle. As an American action-adventure film, it was released in 2023 and directed by Louis Leterrier, a filmmaker known for his work in blockbuster franchises. Interestingly, the film's production history reflects the complexity of managing such a large-scale project. Justin Lin, who had directed multiple prior entries in the franchise, was originally slated to return to the director's chair for Fast X. However, due to creative differences that arose early in the production process, Lin stepped down from directing, though he remained involved as a producer and writer. This shift in directorial leadership was a notable event in the franchise's history, as Lin had become synonymous with the Fast and Furious aesthetic, blending street racing with global action sequences. Despite this change, Leterrier successfully carried the vision forward, ensuring continuity in style, character development, and the franchise's signature adrenaline-fueled spectacle. The film was produced by an extensive consortium of companies, including Original Film, One Race Films, Perfect Storm Entertainment, Roth/Kirschenbaum Films, and China Film Company, Limited, and distributed globally by Universal Pictures. With a reported production budget of approximately $378.8 million, Fast X is one of the most expensive films ever made, reflecting the franchise's ongoing commitment to delivering elaborate action sequences, cutting-edge visual effects, and an ensemble cast of both returning stars and high-profile new additions. The film runs approximately 141 minutes and is primarily in English, though it features a diverse array of international settings that reflect the global scope of its narrative. The story of Fast X revolves around Dominic Toretto, the franchise's long-standing protagonist portrayed by Vin Diesel. Dom and his extended family of friends and allies are faced with one of their most personal and dangerous threats to date. The antagonist, Dante Reyes, played by Jason Momoa, is the vengeful son of a previous adversary whom Dom and his crew defeated in a prior installment. Over the span of 12 years, Dante meticulously plans his revenge, culminating in a global pursuit that challenges the crew's loyalty, courage, and capacity for sacrifice. The film's narrative traverses multiple continents and cities, including Los Angeles, Rome, Turin, Lisbon, and other international locales, highlighting both the geographical and emotional expansiveness of the conflict. Dante's vendetta is deeply personal. His goal is to inflict the same kind of loss on Dom that he suffered in his own family's downfall. This pursuit escalates when it becomes apparent that Dom's young son, an 8-year-old, is at the center of Dante's ultimate scheme, intensifying the stakes and forcing Dom into a desperate effort to protect his family. The plot masterfully combines the franchise's established motifs, loyalty, family, high-speed chases, and epic confrontations, with a heightened emotional core, emphasizing the personal over the purely spectacular. The film's ensemble cast includes several franchise mainstays. Michelle Rodriguez reprises her role as Letty Ortiz, Dom's wife and an equally skilled driver and combatant. Tyrese Gibson returns as Roman Pierce, whose blend of humor and courage provides both levity and tension in critical sequences. Chris "Ludacris" Bridges reprises Tej Parker, a tech-savvy engineer who balances the team's operational needs with a sense of grounded realism amid chaos. Jason Statham returns as Deckard Shaw, whose complex moral alignment adds layers of tension and surprise, while John Cena reprises Jacob Toretto, Dom's estranged brother, whose interactions with the team continue to explore the series' recurring themes of family, loyalty, and redemption. Natalie Emanuel returns as Ramsey, the team's technological and cybersecurity expert, while Jordana Brewster reprises her role as Mia Toretto, Dom's sister and an anchor of emotional grounding for the narrative. Sung Kang returns as Han Lu, providing continuity with previous storylines and enriching the ensemble dynamic. New characters include Brie Larson as Tess, a complex figure whose allegiance oscillates in relation to the agency's goals, Alan Ritchson as Amaze, the head of the agency with complicated ties to Dom's crew, Daniela Melchior as Isabel, a Brazilian street racer with personal connections to Dom's past, Helen Mirren as Magdalene, Queenie, L. Mansonshaw, and Charlize Theron as Cypher, a returning antagonist who introduces additional layers of intrigue and danger. Rita Moreno also appears as Abuelita Toretto, reinforcing the franchise's recurring theme of intergenerational family bonds and legacy. The production of Fast X involved extensive international filming. Scenes were shot in London, Rome, Turin, Lisbon, and Los Angeles, among other locations, providing an authentic and visually striking backdrop for the narrative's globe-spanning conflicts. The logistics of coordinating multiple locations, large-scale stunts, and a vast ensemble cast presented a formidable challenge for the filmmakers, yet the production team successfully executed sequences that combined real-world environments with CGI-enhanced action to maintain the franchise's trademark realism and intensity. Many sequences involved high-speed car chases, complex fight choreography, and explosions meticulously planned to achieve cinematic spectacle without compromising safety. Upon its premiere in Rome on May 12, 2023, and its subsequent wide theatrical release in the United States on May 19, 2023, Fast X achieved significant box office success, grossing approximately $714.4 million worldwide. This financial performance reaffirmed the franchise's enduring popularity and its ability to attract a global audience. Critical reception was mixed, while reviewers praised the high-octane action sequences, visual effects, and performances, particularly that of Jason Momoa as Dante. Some criticism was directed toward the narrative structure, writing, and occasional reliance on familiar franchise tropes. Despite this, the film's combination of spectacle, emotion, and franchise continuity ensured that it resonated with fans and reinforced the narrative arc leading toward the final chapters of the Fast saga. The official trailer, released on February 10, 2023, set the tone for the film, showcasing the high-stakes, international scope, and deeply personal nature of Dante's vendetta. Marketing emphasized the idea that Fast X was a launchpad for the franchise's concluding arc, promising both emotional depth and action sequences that surpassed previous installments. From the catacombs of Rome to the icy expanses of Antarctica, the trailer highlighted the global scale and extreme stunts that have become synonymous with the franchise. The narrative arc of Fast X not only revolves around the physical threats posed by Dante Reyes but also explores the psychological and emotional dimensions of the central characters. Dom's journey is a study in the burdens of leadership and the responsibilities inherent in protecting one's family, a theme that has consistently underpinned the franchise. The crew's dynamic is tested in unprecedented ways, with alliances shifting and characters confronting their vulnerabilities, past regrets, and moral choices. The integration of new characters alongside veterans provides a fresh dynamic, expanding the narrative potential while retaining the core thematic focus on loyalty and family. The conflict between Dom and Dante, therefore, operates on multiple levels, as a physical confrontation, a strategic battle of wits, and a deeply personal struggle that examines the consequences of past actions and the enduring importance of familial bonds. As the 10th main installment, Fast X plays a critical role in shaping the overarching trajectory of the Fast and Furious franchise. The film's scale, both in terms of narrative and production, reflects a culmination of the series' growth from its origins as a street racing-centric drama into a global action saga. Each installment has progressively expanded the thematic and geographic scope, and Fast X represents a deliberate effort to balance the personal stakes of its characters with the increasingly spectacular demands of blockbuster cinema. The filmmaker's approach underscores a commitment to maintaining narrative continuity, exploring character development, and delivering the high-energy sequences that audiences expect, all while positioning the story for the climactic conclusions anticipated in the subsequent installments. The integration of international locations not only enhances the visual appeal but also underscores the franchise's global narrative ambition. Filming in real-world environments allows for more authentic action sequences, providing viewers with immersive experiences that are often enhanced by advanced CGI for scenes that are otherwise impossible to execute practically. The attention to detail in costume design, set construction, and vehicle selection further reinforces the realism and cinematic quality of the film. Vehicles themselves remain central to the narrative, symbolizing the characters' identities, skills, and emotional connections, and the film continues the tradition of featuring custom-designed cars, high-speed chases, and elaborate stunts as narrative devices. The critical and commercial reception of Fast X illustrates the dual pressures faced by blockbuster franchises in the modern cinematic landscape. While box office revenue demonstrates the continued strength and appeal of the franchise, mixed reviews highlight the challenges of balancing spectacle with coherent storytelling and character development. Critics have noted that while action sequences are impressively executed, some narrative elements feel derivative or overly reliant on franchise familiarity. Nevertheless, the film successfully sustains audience engagement through its emphasis on emotional stakes, character relationships, and escalating physical challenges, maintaining its status as a major entertainment event. Following the harrowing events in Rome, Dom and his team find themselves at a crossroads. The devastation caused by Dante's bomb not only endangers thousands of civilians but also shatters the crew's sense of security. Dom, burdened by the knowledge that his enemies now have the upper hand and that the authorities view him as a fugitive, must navigate a complex web of threats, both physical and psychological. The narrative emphasizes the duality of Dom's struggle. He is racing against time to save his son and loved ones while simultaneously contending with the weight of his own past actions. This dual tension, the personal and the global, runs throughout the film, ensuring that every high-octane sequence is underpinned by emotional stakes. Dante's meticulous planning and intimate knowledge of Dom's vulnerabilities make the challenges increasingly unpredictable, requiring Dom and his team to adapt in ways that test their ingenuity, courage, and loyalty. One of the pivotal sequences following Rome involves the capture and imprisonment of Letty Ortiz and Cypher. After surviving a violent confrontation orchestrated by Dante's mercenaries, both women are taken to a high-security black site prison located in a remote, icy region. This location, visually and thematically stark, contrasts sharply with the sun-soaked streets of Rome, emphasizing the global scale of Dante's vengeance and the extreme lengths he is willing to go. The prison sequence serves multiple narrative purposes. It isolates key characters, heightens the sense of urgency, and provides opportunities for Letty and Cypher to demonstrate their resourcefulness and resilience. Their escape, achieved through a combination of physical prowess, intelligence, and unbreakable determination, underscores the franchise's ongoing celebration of skill, bravery, and the triumph of will. The Antarctica sequences, in particular, are visually striking, employing sweeping landscapes and harsh environmental conditions to create tension and awe, while simultaneously reinforcing the film's recurring motif of family as a source of survival and motivation. Parallel to these developments, Jacob Toretto's journey becomes a central narrative thread. Introduced as a protective figure for little Brian, Jacob's role bridges the gap between past conflicts and present stakes. His interactions with Dom and the younger generation highlight the evolving dynamics within the Toretto family, revealing both tension and profound loyalty. Jacob's expertise in combat, strategy, and vehicular maneuvers proves invaluable as he confronts Dante's mercenaries, and his ultimate sacrifice in a fiery explosion resonates as a turning point within the story. This act not only preserves the life of Dom and little Brian but also reinforces the franchise's persistent message that true heroism often comes at the cost of personal loss. Jacob's death serves as both a moment of grief and a catalyst for Dom's renewed determination, propelling the narrative toward the climactic confrontations that define the film's latter acts. The climax of Fast X is centered around a massive highway and dam sequence in Portugal, representing the narrative apex of tension, danger, and spectacle. Dom, racing against time to rescue little Brian, navigates an elaborate trap set by Dante, involving multiple explosive devices strategically positioned along the dam. The sequence is a masterclass in pacing, balancing frenetic vehicular stunts with moments of emotional resonance. Dom's ingenuity is on full display as he orchestrates precise maneuvers to circumvent detonations, while his protective instincts toward his son heighten the stakes with palpable urgency. The cinematography captures both the grandeur of the setting and the intimate drama between father and son, ensuring that the sequence is visually exhilarating without losing sight of its emotional core. Dante, as the orchestrator of chaos, maintains constant presence throughout, his actions and taunts amplifying the tension and reinforcing his role as a villain whose intellect matches his audacity. Supporting characters continue to play crucial roles in these climactic sequences. Roman Pierce and Tej Parker employ technical expertise to assist Dom remotely, hacking systems, disabling security mechanisms, and providing strategic intelligence that allows Dom to anticipate Dante's moves. Han Lu and Ramsey contribute with field interventions that showcase their skills in combat and technology, reinforcing the theme that the team's strength derives not only from individual abilities but also from unity and coordination. Mia Toretto, Tess, and other returning characters provide both narrative continuity and emotional grounding, reminding audiences of the deep history of relationships that have evolved over the course of the franchise. These interactions are integral to maintaining the balance between action and character-driven storytelling, ensuring that every explosive sequence carries weight beyond mere spectacle. Dante Reyes himself is a study in theatrical villainy. His characterization blends flamboyance, unpredictability, and cold intelligence, creating a presence that is both mesmerizing and terrifying. Unlike previous antagonists in the franchise, Dante is portrayed as a character whose vendetta is deeply personal, informed by years of planning and emotional investment in his father's legacy. This duality, charming yet dangerous, elevates the stakes, making him a formidable adversary whose influence is felt even in scenes where he is not physically present. His manipulation of global intelligence networks, exploitation of technology, and strategic orchestration of events reflect a modern villain archetype that combines traditional physical threats with contemporary cyber warfare. Dante's presence transforms the narrative landscape, creating an omnipresent sense of danger that challenges every decision made by Dom and his allies. Action choreography remains a defining feature of Fast X sequences involving multi-vehicle chases, large-scale explosions, and environmental hazards are executed with meticulous attention to timing, spatial dynamics, and cinematic impact. The film employs a blend of practical effects and visual enhancements, ensuring authenticity while maximizing visual spectacle. The use of international locations enhances the narrative, providing diverse backdrops, from the historic architecture of Rome to the icy expanses of Antarctica, that serve both aesthetic and thematic purposes. Each set piece is carefully designed to advance the plot, reveal character traits, and heighten tension, ensuring that the spectacle is always meaningful rather than gratuitous. The film's emotional core is further strengthened by recurring motifs, particularly the centrality of family. Every action, sacrifice, and strategic decision is framed within the context of familial loyalty, reinforcing the franchise's enduring message that relationships and trust are paramount even in the most extreme circumstances. This thematic consistency allows audiences to connect with the characters on a deeper level, investing in their struggles, victories, and losses. The balance between high-octane action and intimate emotional moments is a hallmark of the franchise, and Fast X continues this tradition with careful attention to pacing, character development, and narrative cohesion. Fast X continues to reinforce the central thematic elements that have defined the Fast and Furious franchise since its inception, most notably the concepts of family, loyalty, and personal honor. At its core, the film emphasizes that the bonds between individuals, whether through blood or choice, can provide strength in the face of overwhelming adversity. Dom Toretto's character is emblematic of this principle, serving as both protector and moral compass for his extended family. His actions reflect the franchise's ongoing assertion that true power lies not in wealth, violence, or technical skill alone, but in the loyalty, trust, and sacrifices made to preserve the people one cares about most. This thematic focus allows Fast X to maintain emotional resonance, even amid jaw-dropping stunts, explosions, and improbable vehicular feats. The emotional stakes, the potential loss of Dom's son, the threat to long-standing friends, and the tension between estranged brothers, imbue the high-octane sequences with a weight that distinguishes the film from conventional action fare. Franchise continuity is meticulously maintained throughout Fast X, allowing longtime viewers to connect past events with current narrative developments. Characters who first appeared in earlier installments, such as Han Lu, Mia Toretto, and Deckard Shaw, are reintegrated into the story in ways that acknowledge their histories and previous arcs. The film also references key events from prior entries, including the dismantling of Dante's father's empire, the exploits of the Shaw family, and earlier heists led by Dom's team. These callbacks serve not only as fan service but also as narrative devices that deepen the story, illustrating that the world of Fast and Furious is interconnected and cumulative. The careful balancing of new and returning characters allows the film to expand the universe while retaining continuity, creating a layered, immersive experience for viewers who have followed the franchise for years. Character arcs in Fast X are both expansive and nuanced, with Dom Toretto at the narrative center. Throughout the film, Dom's journey is defined by the tension between his role as a father and his responsibilities as a leader within his extended family. This duality is mirrored in Jacob Toretto's arc, which explores themes of estrangement, rivalry, and eventual reconciliation. Jacob's initial antagonism is tempered by moments of vulnerability, highlighting the complexity of sibling relationships and the emotional cost of past misunderstandings. Letty Ortiz's role as both partner and warrior emphasizes the franchise's ongoing commitment to presenting women as fully realized participants in both action and narrative leadership. Characters like Roman, Tej, Mia, and Han continue to evolve in ways that reflect their personal growth over the course of the series, providing continuity and emotional depth that anchors the film's more extravagant sequences. Dante Reyes, as the antagonist, is developed with motivations that extend beyond mere villainy, making him a multidimensional threat whose intelligence, strategic foresight, and personal vendetta challenge the protagonists on multiple levels. The visual style of Fast X is a testament to the franchise's commitment to spectacle, innovation, and cinematic craftsmanship. The film employs dynamic camera work, sweeping aerial shots, and intricate framing to capture both the scale of the action and the subtleties of character interactions. Lighting, color grading, and visual effects are carefully calibrated to enhance mood, tension, and narrative clarity, creating sequences that are simultaneously breathtaking and narratively coherent. Practical effects remain a hallmark of the franchise, with stunt teams performing complex maneuvers on location, often in challenging or hazardous environments. These practical sequences are augmented with computer-generated imagery to heighten impact without compromising realism, resulting in action that feels both grounded and extraordinary. From the narrow streets of Rome to the icy expanses of Antarctica, each location is treated as an integral component of the visual narrative, providing both aesthetic richness and narrative functionality. The film's soundtrack and musical scoring further enhance its thematic and emotional resonance. A blend of high-energy contemporary tracks and orchestrated scores punctuates action sequences, while quieter, melodic cues underscore moments of introspection, character conflict, and emotional resolution. Music is employed strategically to enhance narrative pacing, heighten suspense, and evoke emotional responses, demonstrating the franchise's sophistication in integrating auditory elements into cinematic storytelling. Songs selected for specific sequences often reflect the cultural and geographic context of the scenes, adding authenticity and reinforcing the film's global scope. Cultural impact and audience reception are significant elements of Fast X's legacy. The franchise's focus on diverse characters, international settings, and universally resonant themes has cultivated a global fan base, and this installment continues that trend. The depiction of cross-cultural collaborations, diverse skill sets, and moral dilemmas resonates with audiences worldwide, reinforcing the franchise's appeal beyond traditional Hollywood markets. Fast X also contributes to ongoing discussions about action filmmaking, stunt design, and franchise storytelling, influencing both audience expectations and industry standards for large-scale blockbuster productions. By combining spectacle, narrative complexity, and thematic depth, the film solidifies the Fast and Furious brand as a cultural phenomenon capable of spanning decades, geographies, and generations. Finally, Fast X sets the stage for future installments in the franchise. While the film delivers a self-contained narrative, it leaves multiple threads open for exploration, including unresolved conflicts, character development arcs, and potential new threats. These narrative seeds ensure continuity and anticipation for subsequent entries, allowing the franchise to evolve organically while maintaining fidelity to its core themes. The careful balance of closure and anticipation reflects sophisticated franchise management, ensuring that each installment contributes to a larger cinematic universe while remaining individually compelling. Throughout Fast X, individual character arcs are given depth and nuance, adding emotional resonance to the high-octane spectacle. Roman Pierce, often the comic relief, experiences a series of transformative moments that reveal his courage and loyalty. Initially hesitant in high-risk operations, he confronts personal insecurities during the Rome chase sequence, where a miscalculated maneuver puts him and his vehicle in immediate danger. This moment allows Roman to demonstrate ingenuity under pressure, using quick thinking and resourcefulness to recover and contribute strategically to the crew's mission. Tej Parker's technical expertise becomes critical in this context, providing guidance and intelligence to enable Roman's survival and mission success. Tej's ethical dilemmas, including decisions about surveillance and privacy during their efforts to counter Dante's manipulations, underscore the moral complexity of the narrative and reflect the broader theme that intelligence and strategy are as vital as physical prowess. Ramsey's subplot is equally integral, highlighting the importance of intellect and courage in high-stakes scenarios. Isolated from the main confrontation, Ramsey is tasked with counteracting Dante's sophisticated cyber operations, often working under extreme time pressure. Her ability to hack into Dante's network while coordinating remotely with the team underscores both her technical prowess and emotional resilience. The film gives Ramsey moments to reflect on her personal growth since earlier installments, emphasizing that she has evolved from a supporting figure into a pivotal member of the Toretto family's operations. Her problem-solving is often the difference between success and failure, reinforcing the narrative principle that brains and brawn must work in tandem. Han Lu's role continues to blend strategic oversight with moral guidance. As the crew faces multi-layered threats, Han's calm composure and methodical approach provide a stabilizing force, ensuring that decisions are made thoughtfully amid chaos. Han's interactions with Jacob, Dom, and other members highlight both leadership and mentorship, providing context to their motivations and reinforcing the central theme of family unity in the face of adversity. The ensemble nature of the crew allows the film to explore multiple perspectives, creating a dynamic narrative that balances spectacle with emotional depth. Fast X also devotes attention to the moral complexity and psychological depth of its antagonist, Dante Reyes. Unlike previous villains in the franchise, Dante operates with long-term planning and strategic foresight. His actions are meticulously orchestrated, from manipulating international law enforcement and global agencies to exploiting personal history to destabilize Dom's crew. Dante's ability to predict movements, anticipate alliances, and exploit vulnerabilities creates a multidimensional threat that challenges both the physical and emotional limits of the protagonists. Jason Momoa's performance brings charisma and menace to the role, ensuring that Dante is not only a physical adversary but a psychological challenge as well. His intelligence and meticulous planning raise the stakes of the narrative and differentiate Fast X from more conventional action fare. Several set-piece sequences illustrate the film's ambitious scale and cinematic creativity. The Rio de Janeiro cargo interception demonstrates the crew's coordination under chaotic conditions, blending vehicular precision, environmental obstacles, and tactical problem-solving. The cinematography emphasizes dynamic movement and spatial awareness, immersing the audience in the chase while highlighting the individual contributions of each character. Parallel sequences, such as Letty and Cypher's escape from a high-security black site, provide narrative counterpoints that maintain tension while exploring character traits and moral decisions. The interplay between these simultaneous events illustrates the narrative complexity of Fast X, reinforcing both global scale and individual agency. The climactic sequence at the dam in Portugal exemplifies the franchise's dedication to high-concept action. The partially collapsed dam serves as a visual and narrative symbol of overwhelming odds, environmental danger, and human resilience. Dom and Jacob coordinate to rescue Little B, navigating collapsing infrastructure, environmental hazards, and Dante's elaborate traps. Each maneuver is executed with precision, blending practical stunts with visual effects to create a sense of realism and spectacle. Cinematic framing emphasizes verticality and scale, allowing viewers to grasp the physical danger while emotionally connecting with the characters. Dante's manipulation of the environment forces split-second decisions, highlighting themes of strategy, leadership, and ethical responsibility. Behind the scenes, Fast X's production demonstrates exceptional logistical complexity. Stunt coordination involved weeks of planning, rehearsals, and technical adjustments, ensuring both safety and cinematic authenticity. International locations required coordination with local authorities, complex scheduling, and the integration of environmental variables into stunts and set design. Vehicles were specially modified for extreme maneuvers, demonstrating an attention to detail that underpins the film's visual credibility. The integration of practical effects, CGI enhancements, and musical scoring further amplifies the tension, spectacle, and emotional resonance of each scene. The soundtrack and sound design of Fast X reinforce the film's narrative and emotional beats. High-tempo music underscores action sequences, while ambient sound design emphasizes suspense, danger, and dramatic tension. Musical motifs reflect character arcs, relationships, and thematic undertones, ensuring cohesion between visual spectacle and emotional storytelling. The auditory experience complements the narrative, maintaining viewer immersion throughout the film's extensive runtime. Fan engagement and reception underscore the franchise's cultural significance. Social media discussion, theory crafting, and fan analyses proliferated after the release of trailers and the film itself. Viewers debated character motives, predicted plot resolutions for Part 2, and speculated on the continuation of unresolved arcs. Marketing strategies leveraged these interactions, releasing behind-the-scenes content, interviews, and interactive features that deepened fan engagement. The franchise's ability to maintain relevance over decades is reflected in this ongoing dialogue between creators and audiences, reinforcing Fast X as both a cinematic event and a participatory cultural phenomenon. As Fast X concludes, unresolved narrative threads establish the foundation for the continuation of the saga. The survival and decisions of Littleby, the fate of Jacob and the rest of the crew, and Dante's overarching plan remain open questions. Themes of family, loyalty, consequence, and resilience continue to dominate, promising a resolution that balances thrilling spectacle with meaningful emotional closure. Fast X succeeds as both an exhilarating action film and a narrative bridge, linking past storylines with anticipated future developments in Part 2. Its integration of high-octane stunts, global locales, complex character arcs, and ethical dilemmas demonstrates a sophisticated approach to blockbuster storytelling. The narrative structure, combining multiple concurrent storylines, character-driven subplots, and global-scale action, positions Fast X as a culmination of franchise evolution. It demonstrates how a long-running cinematic universe can blend spectacle, thematic depth, and narrative continuity. Every action, decision, and emotional moment is interwoven to advance the story, creating a cohesive experience that rewards both longtime fans and new viewers. By balancing practical realism, advanced visual effects, and intricate plotting, the film elevates its genre while maintaining the core identity that has defined the Fast and Furious series for over 2 decades. Fast X is a 2023 American action film and the 10th main installment in the Fast and Furious franchise, directed by Louis Leterrier and produced by Universal Pictures. It serves as the first part of the franchise's concluding arc, blending high-octane action with deeper themes of family, loyalty, and the consequences of past actions. The story centers on Dominic Toretto, who enjoys a brief period of peace with his wife Letty Ortiz and their son Little Brian, only to face a new and personal threat in the form of Dante Reyes, played by Jason Momoa. Dante is the vengeful son of Hernan Reyes, a drug lord defeated by Dom and his crew in Fast 5. Over the years, Dante meticulously plans a global vendetta against the Toretto family, combining strategic cunning, technological manipulation, and violent attacks. The film interweaves multiple storylines. Dom and his crew, including Roman Pierce, Tej Parker, Ramsey, and Han Lu, navigate escalating threats while maintaining their cohesion, and Letty is captured in a high-security black site, encountering Cypher, whose allegiances remain ambiguous. Dante orchestrates large-scale attacks, including ambushes in Rome and Brazil, forcing the team to improvise and adapt. Each member's skills are highlighted. Tej and Ramsey manage cyber and technological challenges, Roman provides tactical distraction, Han coordinates strategy, and Letty demonstrates her combat and escape prowess. The narrative emphasizes that victory relies on teamwork, trust, and adaptive intelligence as much as physical skill. International locations play a major role, from Rome's narrow streets and historic plazas to Brazil's lush landscapes and Portugal's climactic dam sequence. These settings enhance the scale and complexity of stunts and chase sequences, which combine practical effects with CGI for realism and spectacle. Vehicles, a franchise hallmark, are customized to reflect character and tactical needs, with Dom's iconic cars contrasted against Dante's heavily armored convoy. Cinematography, sound design, and musical scoring amplify tension, creating a fully immersive experience. Character dynamics remain central. Dom embodies leadership, loyalty, and emotional resilience. Letty is independent and resourceful. Dante is a complex villain whose vendetta tests both physical skill and moral fortitude. Supporting characters contribute depth and strategy, while recurring figures such as Jacob Toretto, Deckard Shaw, and Luke Hobbs reinforce continuity. Themes of family, loyalty, revenge, and consequence drive both plot and character decisions. The film concludes with a cliffhanger. Dom rescues Little Brian, but Dante's overarching threat remains unresolved, setting up the sequel. Global marketing campaigns emphasized returning characters, action spectacle, and emotional stakes, while box office success confirmed the franchise's enduring appeal. Fast X balances thrilling action, ensemble character arcs, thematic depth, and serialized storytelling, solidifying its role as a key installment in the Fast and Furious saga. Fast X delivers some of the most elaborate and technically demanding action sequences in the history of the franchise, pushing the boundaries of both practical stunts and visual storytelling. One of the most talked about sequences occurs in Rome, where the narrative leverages the city's narrow streets, ancient structures, and underground catacombs to create a multi-layered chase that is both visually stunning and narratively tense. Cars maneuver through tight alleyways, pedestrians and historical architecture add realism and stakes, and the pursuit escalates into an underground confrontation where vehicles become both weapons and shields. The choreography of this sequence required a combination of precision driving, miniature scale models, wire rigging, and CGI augmentation. Safety was paramount, with stunt coordinators meticulously planning each movement and camera angle to ensure that every shot maintained authenticity without endangering cast or crew. This sequence exemplifies the franchise's hallmark style, turning ordinary urban environments into arenas for extraordinary cinematic action. Another standout action set piece occurs in London, where Dom's team is forced to intercept Dante's operatives while navigating urban traffic, bridges, and narrow corridors. The filmmakers designed this sequence to blend vehicular stunts, physical combat, and tactical strategy, demonstrating how the franchise integrates character ingenuity into high-stakes set pieces. Roman and Tej's improvisational problem-solving is highlighted, showing that intelligence, timing, and teamwork are as critical as brute force. Additionally, the sequence reinforces Dante's capabilities, establishing him as a villain who is not only physically imposing but also strategically brilliant, capable of orchestrating multiple contingencies to trap the protagonists. Each element of this scene is meticulously layered to reward both casual viewers and dedicated fans, incorporating visual callbacks, character beats, and escalating tension. The climactic sequence in Antarctica represents the franchise's most ambitious environmental challenge. Filmed partially on location and partially constructed on sound stages with realistic snow and ice simulations, the scene depicts a high-speed pursuit across treacherous icy terrain. Vehicles skid across frozen surfaces, narrow crevices pose constant threats, and environmental hazards combine with human antagonists to create tension on multiple fronts. The sequence required careful coordination between stunt drivers, safety harnesses, snow machines, and digital enhancements to achieve cinematic grandeur while maintaining realism. From a narrative standpoint, this sequence underscores the extreme measures Dante is willing to employ and highlights Dom's unyielding determination to protect his family. The environment itself becomes an additional character, influencing strategy, character decisions, and the pacing of the action. Character interactions throughout Fast X are intricately woven into the action, ensuring that even high-intensity sequences contribute to character development. Dom and Letty's partnership is showcased through synchronized maneuvers, tactical planning, and mutual support under pressure, reflecting decades of shared experience and trust. Jacob's evolving relationship with Dom is tested in the heat of battle, as conflicting loyalties, past grievances, and familial bonds collide. Scenes involving Roman and Tej often provide comic relief, yet they also highlight critical problem-solving that advances the narrative. Secondary characters such as Mia, Ramsey, and Han play pivotal roles in intelligence, communications, and strategic interventions, demonstrating that each member of Dom's extended family is indispensable. These interactions reinforce the franchise's central theme: family is both a source of strength and vulnerability, and loyalty must be actively defended in the face of adversity. Behind-the-scenes insights reveal the complexity of managing a global ensemble cast. Coordinating schedules, stunt requirements, and on-location logistics demanded exceptional planning. Cast members underwent extensive training for specific action sequences, including combat choreography, precision driving, and emergency response techniques. Stunt doubles were integrated seamlessly, ensuring that high-risk maneuvers were performed safely while maintaining visual continuity. Costume and vehicle design teams collaborated to create functional yet visually appealing aesthetics that reflected each character's personality and role. Vehicles were often customized for specific sequences, incorporating reinforced frames, special tires, and advanced suspension systems to handle jumps, collisions, and off-road maneuvers, illustrating the franchise's dedication to practical realism combined with cinematic spectacle. Critical reception of Fast X highlighted the film's strengths and weaknesses in detail. Many reviewers praised the creativity and execution of action sequences, noting that practical stunts combined with CGI enhancements delivered some of the most memorable visuals in the franchise's history. Jason Momoa's performance as Dante Reyes received widespread acclaim for his ability to convey both menace and intelligence, elevating the role beyond a standard action villain. Vin Diesel's portrayal of Dom Toretto was recognized for maintaining emotional gravitas, anchoring the film's most spectacular sequences with a humanizing core. However, some critics pointed out that the narrative could feel overstuffed, particularly for viewers unfamiliar with prior installments. With multiple character arcs, callbacks to previous films, and a globally sprawling plot, the story occasionally required prior knowledge to fully appreciate character motivations and plot intricacies. Nevertheless, audience reactions were generally positive, especially among franchise fans who valued the continuity, high stakes, and return of beloved characters. Box office analysis further underscores Fast X's significance. With a production budget approaching $378 million and a worldwide gross exceeding $714 million, the film achieved strong financial performance despite mixed reviews. International markets contributed heavily to overall earnings, reflecting the franchise's global appeal and the successful marketing of the film as a cinematic event. Merchandise, promotional tie-ins, and social media campaigns amplified engagement, reinforcing the cultural footprint of the franchise and contributing to the anticipation for subsequent installments. Financial success demonstrates that large-scale action franchises can continue to thrive when combining spectacle, character-driven storytelling, and a globally resonant narrative. As Fast X progresses toward its resolution, the tension escalates to nearly unbearable levels. The dam sequence in Portugal reaches its apex as Dominic Toretto, leveraging both his strategic acumen and sheer courage, confronts the full scale of Dante Reyes' machinations. Explosions ripple across the landscape, vehicles tumble into chasms, and the precarious environment transforms the finale into a visually stunning spectacle. Every element of the scene serves a dual purpose, showcasing the franchise's trademark action intensity while simultaneously highlighting the human stakes. Dom's son, Little Brian, is imperiled at every turn. The narrative tension is magnified by the uncertainty surrounding Dante's next moves, as his meticulous planning ensures that no escape is without risk. Dom's determination, resourcefulness, and unwavering focus on family allow him to navigate the treacherous terrain, ultimately rescuing his son amidst the chaos. Yet, the scene concludes on a cliffhanger, with the potential consequences of the dam collapse leaving the fate of multiple characters in suspense. This narrative choice not only heightens anticipation for subsequent installments but also reinforces the overarching theme that the Toretto family is constantly tested by external threats and internal bonds alike. The mid-credit scene introduces a tantalizing new narrative thread, signaling the franchise's continued expansion. Luke Hobbs, played by Dwayne Johnson, reappears in a cameo that both delights longtime fans and propels the story forward. Dante, having narrowly survived the chaos, shifts his attention toward Hobbs, establishing a new target for his vendetta. This development serves multiple purposes. It maintains narrative momentum for future installments, expands the universe by reintegrating familiar characters, and reaffirms the global stakes inherent to the Fast and Furious saga. The mid-credit scene exemplifies the franchise's commitment to continuity, fan engagement, and long-form storytelling, ensuring that each installment serves as both a self-contained narrative and a bridge to subsequent films. In terms of cast contributions, Fast X relies on a balance of veteran performers and new additions to the franchise. Vin Diesel's portrayal of Dominic Toretto remains central to the narrative, his performance anchored in stoicism, emotional depth, and moral conviction. Michelle Rodriguez's Letty Ortiz continues to provide a formidable presence, combining combat skills with nuanced emotional expression. Jason Momoa's Dante Reyes emerges as a standout, his physicality, charisma, and menacing unpredictability establishing him as one of the most memorable antagonists in the franchise. Natalie Emmanuel, Tyrese Gibson, Ludacris, Sung Kang, and John Cena each contribute key elements to the ensemble, their performances reinforcing the themes of loyalty, ingenuity, and courage. The supporting and cameo roles, including Jordana Brewster, Brie Larson, Alan Ritchson, Charlize Theron, Daniela Melchior, Rita Moreno, Jason Statham, and Pete Davidson, provide both narrative continuity and moments of levity, depth, or surprise, ensuring that the film maintains the complex, interconnected ensemble dynamic that has become a hallmark of the series. The marketing and promotional campaigns for Fast X were equally ambitious, reflecting the film's global scale and cultural significance. Official trailers, released strategically in February and April 2023, highlighted both the personal stakes and the high-octane spectacle of the film. The first trailer focused on Dante's origins, the Rome bomb sequence, and the emotional core of family, establishing immediate intrigue. The second trailer emphasized action sequences, Jacob's heroics, Shaw's return, and the expanding scope of international conflict. Promotional strategies also included partnerships with major brands, international premieres, fan events, and behind-the-scenes content designed to immerse audiences in the franchise universe. The marketing approach ensured broad visibility, anticipation, and fan engagement, aligning with Universal Pictures' strategy of positioning Fast X as a must-see global cinematic event. From a production standpoint, Fast X exemplifies the franchise's commitment to combining practical stunts, innovative cinematography, and cutting-edge visual effects. The choice of filming locations across multiple continents, including Rome, Lisbon, Portugal, and Antarctica, provides both aesthetic variety and narrative significance, reflecting the global scale of Dom and Dante's conflict. Practical stunts, such as car chases, high-speed pursuits, and explosive set pieces, are meticulously choreographed and integrated with visual effects to maintain realism while amplifying cinematic impact. The use of diverse environments challenges the characters, tests their ingenuity, and enhances the immersive experience for audiences. Additionally, the production emphasized safety, technical precision, and authenticity, ensuring that each action sequence, regardless of scale or complexity, maintains the franchise's hallmark of credibility amidst spectacle. The cultural and commercial impact of Fast X is substantial, reflecting the enduring global appeal of the Fast and Furious franchise. The film's release on May 19, 2023, generated significant box office revenue, critical discourse, and social media engagement, reinforcing the franchise's status as a major cinematic phenomenon. Fans and critics alike highlighted the blend of character-driven storytelling, technical excellence, and narrative continuity, noting that Fast X succeeds in balancing nostalgia with innovation. The film's exploration of themes such as vengeance, loyalty, family, and global conflict resonates across diverse audiences, demonstrating the franchise's ability to transcend mere action entertainment and engage viewers on emotional, strategic, and cultural levels. In summary, Fast X represents a pivotal chapter in the Fast and Furious saga. Through a combination of high-stakes action, complex character arcs, innovative cinematography, and global narrative scope, the film continues the franchise's tradition of delivering adrenaline-fueled spectacle while grounding the story in human emotion and relational depth. Its portrayal of Dante Reyes as a complex, theatrical antagonist, alongside the ongoing evolution of Dom Toretto and his extended family, ensures that the narrative is both compelling and consequential. The film's marketing, production quality, and cultural reception underscore its status as a major cinematic event, bridging past installments with future narratives and solidifying the franchise's place in contemporary film history. As Fast X unfolds, each narrative thread converges to create a densely layered cinematic experience. The film opens with a meticulously orchestrated heist sequence, setting the tone for the stakes and complexity that will define the story. Dom and his crew are initially seen intercepting an encrypted data shipment in Rome, a seemingly routine mission that quickly escalates when Dante's influence becomes apparent. The narrow streets and historic landmarks of Rome are not mere scenery but active elements in the action, shaping strategy and heightening risk. Roman Pierce's improvisational driving and Tej Parker's remote technological guidance are essential to navigating this environment, while Ramsey's hacking abilities ensure that Dante's traps are identified and mitigated. The combination of skill, coordination, and quick thinking illustrates the franchise's focus on teamwork and intelligence as critical to survival. Meanwhile, Dante's manipulation is revealed through multiple simultaneous operations. He deploys a network of mercenaries, law enforcement agents, and advanced surveillance to anticipate the crew's movements. His psychological strategies include exploiting Dom's past decisions, framing allies to induce mistrust, and leveraging global agencies to isolate the Toretto family. These layers of manipulation create a narrative tension that extends beyond physical confrontations, emphasizing strategic thinking, moral choice, and emotional resilience as central themes. Parallel to the Rome sequences, Letty and Cypher navigate their own high-stakes environment. Trapped in a fortified black site in Brazil, their escape requires a combination of stealth, combat skills, and analytical thinking. Letty's moral clarity contrasts with Cypher's pragmatic ruthlessness, creating tension and occasional conflict within their alliance. The black site's architecture, security systems, and technological traps are choreographed to test both physical and cognitive abilities, reflecting the film's consistent theme that survival depends on both intelligence and bravery. Their escape culminates in a high-intensity chase across Rio de Janeiro's waterfront, weaving together the aesthetic beauty of the city with perilous stunts, showcasing the franchise's signature blend of spectacle and narrative logic. The Rio sequences also allow for character growth and interpersonal dynamics to emerge. Roman, often underestimated due to his humorous demeanor, demonstrates leadership and courage in moments of improvisation. His interactions with Tej reveal deep trust and mutual reliance, highlighting the crew's cohesion despite extreme stress. Ramsey's resourcefulness under pressure reinforces her role as an indispensable member, capable of shaping outcomes through intellect rather than brute force. These sequences illustrate that even minor characters receive arcs that contribute to overall narrative complexity, ensuring that every member of the Toretto family has agency and narrative weight. Jacob Toretto's arc is particularly poignant. Initially characterized by ambivalence and rivalry with Dom, he is forced to confront personal loyalties when Dante targets Little B. Jacob's decisions underscore themes of redemption, familial duty, and the ethical challenges of protecting loved ones under dire circumstances. The interplay between Jacob and Dom emphasizes sibling dynamics shaped by history, shared trauma, and moral responsibility. Their coordinated efforts to safeguard family members during the climactic dam sequence in Portugal highlight the convergence of personal stakes and action-driven spectacle. Each maneuver, jump, and rescue is both visually arresting and narratively significant, reinforcing the idea that every action has consequence and every decision carries emotional weight. The Portugal dam sequence represents the apex of both technical execution and narrative tension. The crew navigates collapsing infrastructure, turbulent water flows, and engineered traps while attempting to thwart Dante's plans. Practical stunts, such as vehicles leaping across fissures and precision driving along precarious ledges, are complemented by CGI enhancements that maintain realism while amplifying danger. Cinematography emphasizes scale, verticality, and environmental hazards, immersing audiences in the high-stakes action. Concurrently, Dante's psychological manipulation unfolds through dialogue and strategic misdirection, ensuring that the climax is as much about mental acuity and emotional endurance as it is about physical prowess. Han Lu's role during these sequences underscores strategic oversight and leadership under pressure. Han coordinates remote operations, guiding separated crew members while maintaining composure in the face of chaos. His presence reinforces the franchise's thematic focus on wisdom, mentorship, and tactical thinking as complementary to action and courage. Similarly, Letty and Cypher's successful navigation of their perilous subplot demonstrates adaptability and intelligence, reinforcing that victory is rarely achieved through brute force alone. The interweaving of these parallel storylines creates a complex narrative tapestry that sustains tension while providing emotional resonance. Dante's final confrontation with Dom is orchestrated with meticulous precision, blending psychological tension with physical danger. Dante exploits every element of the environment, from structural weaknesses to psychological vulnerabilities, forcing Dom to confront not only immediate threats but also the consequences of past actions. The interplay between antagonist and protagonist is enhanced by tight framing, rapid cuts, and dynamic sound design, creating an immersive experience that reinforces both stakes and thematic significance. Jason Momoa's performance amplifies the menace, intelligence, and charisma of Dante, elevating the character beyond typical action film villainy. The aftermath sequences explore the consequences of the climactic events. Characters reflect on sacrifices, near losses, and moral choices, highlighting the narrative's emphasis on family, loyalty, and resilience. The resolution is deliberately partial, leaving key storylines open to continue in Part 2. Little B's survival, the evolving dynamics between Dom and Jacob, and the unresolved fate of Dante ensure that audiences remain engaged and invested in the ongoing saga. These unresolved threads provide narrative momentum and emotional stakes for the franchise's continuation. Production insights reveal the scale and ambition required to execute Fast X. Filming across multiple continents demanded intricate coordination of cast, crew, and stunts. Vehicles were customized for extreme maneuvers, while safety protocols ensured actor involvement in high-risk sequences. Weeks of rehearsal were dedicated to synchronizing timing for collapses, explosions, and stunts. The combination of practical effects and CGI maintained visual realism while amplifying cinematic spectacle. Behind-the-scenes challenges included coordinating international permits, managing unpredictable environmental conditions, and ensuring narrative coherence across parallel sequences, a testament to the franchise's logistical and creative prowess. Fast X's soundtrack and audio design contribute to narrative cohesion. High-tempo tracks accompany chase sequences, while subdued motifs highlight emotional moments or suspense. The auditory landscape reinforces character decisions, enhances tension, and integrates seamlessly with visual storytelling. Music is utilized as a narrative device, supporting pacing, tone, and thematic continuity throughout the film. Combined with meticulous cinematography, lighting, and set design, these elements ensure that the audience remains fully immersed. The film's marketing and fan reception demonstrate the franchise's cultural resonance. Promotional campaigns, trailer releases, and social media speculation engaged audiences long before theatrical release. Fan analyses, theories, and discussions about character arcs, plot resolutions, and Part 2 expectations created a participatory culture around the film. Cliffhanger endings, unresolved moral dilemmas, and strategic placement of new characters maximized anticipation and global engagement, ensuring that Fast X functioned as both entertainment and cultural event. Box office performance reflected this engagement. Fast X achieved significant domestic and international revenue, reinforcing the franchise's long-term commercial viability. Critical responses highlighted the film's blend of spectacle, narrative complexity, and emotional resonance. Audiences praised the integration of multiple concurrent storylines, the balance of practical and digital effects, and the continued evolution of characters who have grown over decades. These elements collectively validate the franchise's strategy of maintaining continuity while innovating with each installment. The narrative's thematic cohesion emphasizes the interplay of family, loyalty, consequence, and personal growth. Each character's journey reinforces the central motif of unity in the face of adversity. The consequences of past decisions, the stakes of protecting loved ones, and the moral choices faced under extreme circumstances create a narrative depth that transcends conventional action cinema. Fast X demonstrates that high-octane spectacle can coexist with meaningful storytelling, emotional resonance, and character-driven complexity. As Part 2 looms, the unresolved storylines provide fertile ground for narrative expansion. Dante's strategic manipulations, the evolving familial dynamics between Dom, Jacob, and Little B, and the ongoing threats to the Toretto crew create anticipation for further exploration. Themes of revenge, redemption, and resilience promise to reach their culmination, ensuring that audiences remain invested in the outcome. Fast X, therefore, functions as both a thrilling cinematic experience and a narrative bridge, linking past events with future resolutions while maintaining thematic, emotional, and narrative continuity. Fast X represents the apex of technical innovation in the Fast and Furious franchise, blending practical effects with cutting-edge digital enhancements to create sequences that are simultaneously realistic and extraordinary. The filmmakers placed significant emphasis on combining in-camera stunts with CGI augmentation, ensuring that viewers perceive authenticity even when the action exceeds the boundaries of physical possibility. For example, vehicular stunts involving mid-air jumps, precision drifts through tight spaces, and coordinated collisions were performed with highly trained stunt drivers under controlled conditions, then seamlessly enhanced with digital compositing to amplify danger and spectacle without compromising safety. This balance between practical and digital effects has become a hallmark of the franchise, allowing the narrative to maintain plausibility while delivering cinematic thrills that push the boundaries of audience expectations. One of the most notable innovations in Fast X is the integration of dynamic environmental effects into the action sequences. Snow, ice, water, and urban debris are treated as interactive elements rather than passive backdrops. In sequences set in Antarctica, vehicles slide and spin on frozen surfaces, requiring careful simulation of traction, inertia, and environmental hazards. In urban sequences, crumbling infrastructure, falling debris, and vehicle collisions are meticulously coordinated with both practical effects and digital enhancements, creating multi-layered action that engages viewers visually and emotionally. The cinematography complements these effects, utilizing sweeping aerial shots, slow-motion captures, and perspective shifts that enhance the sense of scale and danger. Lighting is carefully calibrated to ensure that practical and digital effects blend seamlessly, maintaining continuity and immersion across complex sequences. Stunt coordination in Fast X represents a pinnacle of logistical and creative achievement. The production employed multiple stunt coordinators specializing in vehicular, combat, and environmental challenges. Each sequence required extensive pre-visualization, often involving virtual simulations, miniature models, and rehearsals in controlled environments. High-risk maneuvers, such as rooftop jumps, high-speed chases through urban landscapes, and interactions with large-scale props or collapsing structures, were meticulously planned and executed in stages to ensure safety while maintaining cinematic impact. Actors were trained extensively, not only to perform their own stunts when possible but also to understand spatial awareness, timing, and the physics of their environment. The collaboration between stunt teams, cinematographers, and the director ensured that every sequence served both narrative and visual objectives, reinforcing the franchise's commitment to practical realism enhanced by modern technology. Comparisons with previous Fast and Furious installments reveal the evolution of scale, narrative complexity, and character development. Whereas early entries in the franchise focused primarily on street racing and small-scale heists, Fast X demonstrates a dramatic expansion in both physical and thematic scope. Global locations, multi-layered storylines, and higher stakes reflect the franchise's growth into an international blockbuster series capable of competing with the largest contemporary action films. At the same time, the film maintains continuity with prior installments through character arcs, recurring antagonists, and plot references. Characters such as Dom, Letty, Roman, Tej, and Mia have evolved from street racers and local operatives into global actors capable of orchestrating complex operations, highlighting their growth over multiple decades. Villains like Dante Reyes build upon a tradition of antagonists whose intelligence, personal motivation, and physical capability challenge the protagonists on multiple levels, creating tension that extends beyond mere physical confrontations. Character evolution in Fast X is notable for its emphasis on generational themes and legacy.